Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Melissa Andre. I'm the Executive Director of the Tax Review Board, and we are convening a session today, April 25th of 2023. With me today is our board chair, Nancy Camerdiner, with the board members Paula Weiss and George Matthews. Please be aware that this is a public hearing and it is being recorded. Because the meeting is public, participants and viewers have no expectation of privacy, and by continuing to be in this meeting, you are consenting to being recorded. This meeting will be posted to the Tax Review Board website. At this time, I'm going to run to the other room and put in case number 4. Nancy, just hold tight until I put the person in the room and then you can start off.
Great, thank you.
No problem.
Have a seat. Speak nice and loudly, please. The microphone is right in the middle. Thank you.
Afternoon.
Nancy, you can start.
Okay, thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. The Tax Review Board hearings for April 25th, 2023 will come to order. The first item on our agenda is item number 4 for Charles Waldron. Last 4 digits of the docket 0404. Property address is 1304 North 50th Street. Please identify yourself for the record.
My name is Charles Waldron.
Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth with everything that comes before the board?
I do.
Okay, thank you. When you're actually testifying, if you could come a little closer to the computer and speak into or near the mic, it will help all of us hear you a little more distinctly.
Okay.
Oh, that's much better. Thank you. Who has this matter for the city?
Yes, for the city.
No, I'm asking for the city. Yeah,
Okay.
Hold on just a moment. We're getting them to introduce themselves.
Good afternoon, Adriana Gonzalez on behalf of the city.
Do you have anyone with you who will need to be sworn?
Yes, Ms. Brockington Long.
Okay, please identify yourself for the record.
My name is Angela Brockington Long, and I'm with the Water Revenue Bureau.
Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth with everything that comes before the board?
I do.
Okay, fine, thank you. Do you have the numbers for the record?
I do.
Would you please enter them?
Yes. The period in question is February 15th, 2019 through May 20th, 2020. The principal, $565.11. Penalty, $9.13. 0 lien, and the total, $574.24.
The principal again was 500 and
$65.11.
okay. I could have done a little calculation there and been closer, but that was quicker. Thank you. Do you have anything else that you're adding, or that Ms. Gonzalez, do you have anything that you're adding before we turn to the petitioner?
Only that, it is, while he still has the right to dispute his back balance, Mr. Waldron is very, very recently been approved for TAP. And if this period were no longer in dispute, this would likely be his pre-TAP arrears that would be forgiven after 24 payments.
Okay. Has that been discussed with him in the past?
I attempted to contact Mr. Waldron on the phone and the first time I left a message, and the second time the mailbox was full.
Okay. So he may or may not have the information that you were just indicating right now. Is that correct?
I am unsure. Yeah, I
Okay.
don't know.
Then let's turn to Mr. Waldron. Please tell us why you're here and what it is you're looking for from this board. And then there can be some interchange between you and the city representative, Ms. Gonzalez.
Man, I was out of the country, right? And I came home and I made a water bill at $500 and something, right? I thought that was just for 1 month. But last Friday, I went down Catman Avenue, and the young lady explained to me, said, it's a period of 3 months. So I said, I wasn't there, so I didn't see that. The only one that I saw was for $500. And I said, how come my water bill jumped from $40 to $200 and something? She said, how much you got a leak? I said, no. They sent out a technician. He put a new, I don't know if he put a new meter or what he did. He said, run the tap. He said, you don't have a leak. I paid, right? Then next thing I know, they're sending me thing. No bill. No bill. So they're deducting it back. They do that for a period of time, then suddenly they put it back on again. And this time it looked like they had late charge or something, because the last time I was here, I think they said it was like $700 or something like that, or $600. So that's what I'm disputing, madam.
You indicated that you were away for a period of time. Is there anyone else who
No,
lives in or
ma'am.
who visits the property?
No, my buddy just come and write up the bills then, but he don't really stay there. You just come and write the bills and send them off while I was away.
So, Mr. Waldron, do you live in this property?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and have you recently, or since you returned from being out of the country, been approved for the city's what's called the TAP program, which reduces your bills?
I got something. I got something in the mail, right? And I took it down to Cartman Avenue, and the young lady explained it to me. Said this is a reduction on my bill, right? So I said, how come this could be a reduction? And my bill is like $42 a month, and they say I must pay like 45 or 48 something a month. So that's the part I can't understand too. So I don't know what reduction I get from the water authority.
But, why don't we turn to Ms. Gonzalez? Can you explain perhaps to Mr. Waldron the basis of the TAP program and his entrance into it, and maybe we can just resolve it that way?
Yes, so the TAP program is a program that you applied for that helps people pay their water bills if they have a back balance, or if they find their bills are more than what they're able to afford. I'm going to pull up your property.
But I say something?
Sure.
I didn't file for that. I filed for citizen discount on my bill.
Right. Yes. You filed for citizen the senior citizen discount.
Yes.
However, what we do, rather than just giving you the program you asked for, we give you the one that will give you the least expensive bill. So that you qualify for based on your income that you reported to us.
I go from $42 to 48 or something like that. That's not no reduction. That's an increase on my bill. Maybe
Why don't you let Ms. Gonzalez go through it and let's see where we are.
Yeah.
So it takes into account what, and if there's any balance on the account as well. So the senior citizen discount plus paying off the portion of the bill that he disputes would have been $69 a month.
$69?
However, because Mr. Waldron qualifies for TAP based on his income, his bill is fixed at a percentage of his income. I believe it's 4%.
I'm sorry, how much is that each month?
$49.97. For reference, I believe his bills have ranged from the ones he's disputing today, $200 to $50 to $45. So this, rather than there being a up and down curve on his bills and there being an unexpected amount every month, it's the same amount expected every month. Yeah. Along with the added benefit of 24 months of compliance in the program, 24 monthly payments, earns forgiveness of the back balance of some portion of the back balance on the bill, penalties, and some portion of the principal. So at the end of 24 months, the bill, he can ask for the bill to be recalculated based on his income, or at this point, if he feels as though this $49.97 is too much, he could file an appeal for TAP. But that is what he's qualified for. Also, he's under no obligation to continue in the program if he does not wish to. However, opting out of the program would make him ineligible for arrearage forgiveness.
Yeah, but that's saying that the bill that I was disputing is right. You know, I wasn't there, right? Nobody was in the house. How come the bill is $200 and something? That's what I want to know.
Okay.
Nobody was there.
Mr. Waldron, when were you out of the country?
It's on my passport. I can't remember. I know I leave either October or November. I didn't come back till April.
Of what years?
I think 2017, 2018. 2018, I come back, 2019.
Well, Mr. Waldron, the bill that you're questioning is the fall of 2019 to the spring of 2020. Were you in the house at that time?
Spring 2019. Something.
You have to be able to tell us.
Man, something mixed up somewhere, right? Because I got a printout here, right?
Or was it February of 2019 to May of 2020? Were you in the house in 2019?
I think so, but that's not the bill I was disputing. Right? I think it was 2017 or 2018. Right? When I came back and I saw that bill for $500 and something. It wasn't 2019. I think I'm quite sure about that.
That does not match the Water Revenue Bureau's records.
I'm just read out this thing young lady gave me because she said,
Mr. Waldron, when you were out of the country, who paid the water bills?
my friend of mine.
And he paid every month?
Yes, he paid every month. I signed the check and he got full it in, the electric company, the gas company, the water bill. So I was paying my bill every month.
All right, and you don't know the exact date when you returned?
Every time I leave, right, I come back either March or April. I try to stay away from the cold. So I come in March or April. Sometimes the last time I think I came back in May.
All right, well, the only high bills that we're seeing really are March, April, May of 2019.
Right. I was going to raise that same thing because the sheet that we have shows the highest consumption in those 3 months. There's some others that are about the same each month, but those are much, much higher. They're probably 10 times as much as, maybe not quite 10 times, but there are quite a few changes from
The
what
others
was happening in the other months of the year.
19.
Ms. Angela, can we see the payment history?
See, high here, high here, high here, and then 18 is normal.
Ms. Brockington Long, can we see the payment history? And I guess while you're doing that, Mr. Waldron, you are on the city's low income program. If you want us to continue and make an adjustment, you need to tell us that you don't want to be on that program anymore, I guess.
He doesn't have to do that. He doesn't have to do that. I was telling him that he brought up a point. I'm sorry to interrupt. But
No, go right ahead.
he brought up a point about not wanting the senior citizen discount and his bill on tap not being as low as he anticipated. And I was saying that if he doesn't want to participate in tap and wants to just pay whatever the bills come as they are, that's fine. Because in some cases, some months, he does use slightly less than what would be $49.
Somebody not checking.
But
Somebody not checking the record right. Like I told you, when I paid that bill, the 500 something, I paid it off, right? and they was giving me credit for it, right?
Do you know what period of time that covered?
And I can't remember.
Okay, I thought maybe you would remember since you were referencing it.
I can't really remember, but they did give me credit for it, right? And then suddenly they put it back on. Maybe that's what they're talking about, 2019, when it came on.
Now, they're talking about 3 months of very high usage that ended up totaling a bill of $574.
Ma'am, I don't have a restaurant. I don't have a laundromat.
You do. We're just asking what was going on in the
No,
property.
I'm trying to explain to you, right? No way in the world my bill could be $200 a month.
The period that we're referring to goes from March 14th of 19 through the 20th of May in 19. Were you in the property in that time period?
I can't really remember. I know I came back sometime in 2019, but I can't remember. It's in my
Ms.
part.
Brockington Long, are you ready to share your screen? You're muted. Ms. Brockington Long, you're
Oh,
muted.
I'm sorry. I thought I was sharing it. You can't see the.
No, we can't see the screen.
Oh, okay,
We haven't all along.
okay. Do you see a screen now?
No,
Hmm.
you have to go to the top and there's like a button that says share your screen.
Yeah, I see. I'm hitting share. I have share, click share.
It does take a little bit of time after you hit the right button, but we haven't seen anything yet. It's coming on.
There we go.
Okay. Okay, and this, do you want to see the time period with the high usage?
Yes.
Yes,
Okay, so that's here, March, April, and May, 2019.
Tony did make a payment.
We made a payment in March, $54, and in May, $249, which left a balance.
George, did you have questions about the payments?
Yes. Why did you make the payment if you found a problem with this billing? How come you didn't go to the city and requested for the payment history and the billing history?
I went downtown about 3 times. I came here about 3 times. Right? The first time they said they want proof of address. I said, I got my driver's license. Right? Then the second time, I brought the passport, but I forgot the utility bills. And he denied me again. I've been denied about 3 or 4 times. I came down here. So I didn't just start disputing this thing. I've been disputing this thing for a while.
Was there any leak in the building? Was there any water leak?
Now, not according to the water authority people. The guy came and do something with the meter. Then he tell me turn the tap on. Right? And then he said, everything is normal. So I asked him, I said, why my bill is so high? He said, you I have no idea why it was like that.
Okay, the last question. You want to get into the TAP program, or you just wanted to pay your bills on monthly?
Everybody want them with the TAP program. What? I didn't use this water during this period of time. I can't. It's impossible. Right? I don't mind getting to the TAP program, but I'm paying for something that I didn't do. I didn't use these things.
You are not answering our question, sir. We will address that, but we want to know, you want to get into TAP program or just regularly you want to make the payment on a monthly basis?
So if I want to make the pay on a monthly basis, I could do that at the place there. Okay. I'm disputing the bill. Right? I make the payment first because I said I didn't know you dispute the bill. And then somebody said, well, you didn't dispute the bill. And I go and I dispute the bill. Right?
Mr. Waldron, I'm sorry, I'm gonna ask a question.
Yeah.
you remember when COVID hit? Where were you when COVID hit? When everything shut down? Because of COVID. Were you here? Were you here in your home or were you away?
No, I was here.
You were here.
Yeah,
And
I was here, but I just missed it because I didn't go that year. If I did go that year, I was gonna.
That
Yes,
would have been
no.
20.
that would have been
2020. The time periods that we're seeing that have those highest amounts are actually 1 year earlier. They
Sorry,
were
I
in
didn't.
19.
And so the year before COVID, you were away.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
What months were you away in that time period? Do you remember?
I leave here either October or November. I didn't come back until I think it's March or April.
Okay, March, April, and May are the time periods of the highest usage. When you came back, do you remember whether you did any special laundry or cleaning or things like that that might have caused higher water usage in that time period?
No, ma'am. No, ma'am.
Okay, just a thought. And I thought you might, given the time relationship to when you came back from your trip, I thought maybe that would trigger a memory of something special that was going on in your property.
When I didn't even know that, right?
Can I see that?
Okay,
The passport you gave me was for 2018. So I just want to see if,
I think you get 19 in there too.
yeah, I'm sorry. I'm just looking to see about 19 because the pages that he had given me before were 18.
There is a stamp from 2019 on the pages that I received.
That's 18 years.
No, they all say, oh, I see 19.
Yeah, where it looks like you
I
left
agree.
in November of 2018 and returned to
Yep,
the United States in May of 2019.
got it. Thank you. Just wanted to clarify.
Yeah, absolutely.
Ms. Gonzalez, did you have more evidence to put on?
Ms. Brockington Long, are the period in question, were those actual or estimated reads?
No, those are actual, it was actual readings and the usage decreased on its own.
You said the usage decreased on its own, meaning the meter shop did not
Did
have
not
to go out
come.
and adjust anything.
No.
And in situations like this, what would we suggest a water customer do? Or rather, what would we suggest might be the cause? Would be
Well, we
of
would
the
suggest that
issue.
they would have gotten a plumber to come out to see if there were any issues with the plumbing.
Ma'am,
The high usage fixed itself. There was nothing that the water department had to do to adjust the equipment.
they came out.
So-
Please don't interrupt. It's their turn.
Okay.
Thank you.
Mr. Waldron mentions that the water department did visit the property. When, if any time from 2019 to present, when did they visit the property?
They did come out on June 30th, 2022 to change the ERT. And there was estimated usage from October 2021 until June 2022 when they changed the ERT. And there's been, that was the final read, and there was really no adjustment. The payment due was $37, so he wasn't back billed for anything.
So it was a routine ERT change.
It was a routine, well, no, there
Well,
was an
not
issue.
exactly.
Yeah, the ERT did fail, but he wasn't a back billed for anything.
Could I say something now?
Let them finish, please.
Okay.
And are there, and prior to that ERT change and prior to that brief period of estimated reads, there was no other issue, there's no other indication of any issues with the meter in the property? No
No.
complaints prior to that
No,
high usage?
no, there's not.
I have
Can I-
nothing further from Ms. Brockington Long.
Ms. Brockington Long, I'm looking at the account sheet we have showing the monthly usage. And I'm looking at the June 30th, 2022 date prior to the ERT change and
Yeah.
showing for a period of 9 months, a monthly average of 2,300 cubic feet. Was that an estimate or was that are you testifying that's not correct? That's not.
No, that's, the final read was an actual reading.
Okay, so was he Okay, so the 2,300 was spread over 9 months, not,
Right.
okay,
And what I'm saying, that bill was actually $37, so he wasn't, back billed for any large amount.
because that's not an accurate monthly average. That was actually the whole 9 months.
Yes.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Also, I'd like to note that is outside of the period Mr. Waldron is disputing.
I understand that.
Is there anything else that the city can add or has questions about that we should be aware of?
I do have one brief question for Mr. Waldron, if I'm allowed.
Please go ahead with that.
Mr. Waldron, after you received these bills, did you ever have a plumber look at the property during or anything?
No, ma'am. Like I told you all earlier, when I went downtown, they sent out a technician there, right? And he checked the meter, and I think he replaced it. When the guy came the second time, I said, how long a meter supposed to last? He said 10 years. I said, do you know the last time this meter changed? And he said, yes, 2017.
And when was that first when did you say that first meter tech came out? When do you think?
I can't really remember when. They got to get a record of him because they sent him out. And I never had a plumber come in there. Because he said that I don't have no leak.
You never had. And how many bathrooms are in the property?
One.
And you have a fully
Live
functioning bathroom?
alone. I live alone.
I have no further questions for Mr. Waldron.
Right, Mr. Waldron, do you have any other questions you wanted to ask of the city or any comment you wanted to make?
I'm just tired. I'm just tired. I just do what's the best thing you could do. And I abide with it.
Okay.
I'm just tired.
Are we ready to go back?
I was just going to ask the same question. So I guess are you ready, George?
Yes, I am ready.
Okay, we're going to step aside for a few moments. Everybody stays put where you are. We just go to a virtual room to discuss our decision.
Okay, man.
Ms. Gonzalez, can you check your chat?
Nancy, everyone is back.
Okay, fine, thank you. The board's reached a decision. it's our decision to reduce the monthly average consumption in the months from 3/14/19 through 5/20/19. That would be 3 months to 500 cubic feet per month. That takes it from amounts that ranged from 1,800 to 3,200. So it's a considerable decrease in the consumption amounts for those 3 months. You'll get a letter from us that spells out our decision. Both sides do have the right to appeal to the Court of Common Pleas within 30 days of the date of our decision. But I'm going to assume for the moment that neither side's going to choose to appeal. And if that would prove to be the case, then sometime shortly after that 30-day period elapses, you should enter into payment arrangements with the city to take care of the outstanding amounts on your bill. Any questions?
Yes, could you just repeat that for me, please? Rebill.
The time period, it's the months in 2019 that go from 3/14/19, 4/18/19, and 5/20/19. They're the 3 months with the considerably higher consumption amounts. And we're decreasing those from the numbers that are on the record to 500 per month.
Okay, great.
So abating 100% of the interest, which is $9.
Okay, I'm sorry, I was forgetting about the interest there. Do I have concurrence from my board members on that?
Paula Weiss.
Happy second.
And Nancy Camerodiner, I concur. So you'll get that letter from us within about 2 weeks, and you'll have 30 days to make a decision. And once the that time period elapses, you will need to enter into payment arrangements with the city for whatever remains.
Which means, Mr. Waldron, you can stay on tap or you can choose to go another way in terms of making your payments.
But you can
Okay,
be talking with the
stay on
city
tap.
representatives about what is the most advantageous for you as you go forward.
Okay. Well, that, I could stay on tap.
Okay, well, that will be your choice both now and after conversation with the people in the Water Revenue Bureau.
Yeah.
We thank you for coming in today, and you'll get the notice from us relatively soon.
Okay, thanks very much.
Thank you for coming in.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye now. The next item on our agenda will be for case number 2, Timothy Lewis. We'll give a moment or two, I believe. Lewis, yes, I was gonna say, I believe he's in the office. Okay, please identify yourself for the record.
Timothy Lewis.
Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth with everything that comes before the board?
I do.
Okay, thank you. When it comes time for you to testify, if you could be a little closer to the computer, that's where the not only the view of you, but also the microphone is in that area. And we'll be able to hear you a little bit better.
My knees are all the way up, I can tell you that.
Okay, okay. I'm sorry. And I heard you much better when you said that than when you gave your name before.
Okay, so.
And I do need to
This
do
is-
one other thing. I need to swear you in. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth with everything that comes before the board?
I do.
Okay, fine. Thank you very much. Who has this matter for the city?
Good afternoon, Adriana Gonzalez on behalf of the city.
Okay, and is Ms. Brockington the one who has the numbers for the record?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, if you would give us the numbers for the record, please.
Yes, the period in question is September 16, 2020 through March 15, 2021. The principal, $1,081.11, zero penalty, zero lien, and the total $1,081.11.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
Do you have anything else to add before we turn to the petitioner?
No, I reserve any comments for after the petitioner testifies.
Okay, fine, thank you. So, Mr. Lewis, if you could tell us why you're here and what it is you're looking for from this board.
Sure. In February of 2021, evidently there was a meter change. I'm not sure what prompted the meter change. I guess perhaps it was a defective meter, and likely y'all contacted me about the meter change. You could correct me on that detail, but there was a meter change, and upon the meter change, there was a surprise bill of $1,053.09.
Can
And
you
so,
tell us anything more about what was going on at that point in time for you
well, I
and?
can tell you the bills have been paid timely up till then, and I'm not sure if there was a defective meter. I'm not sure why it wouldn't have been changed sooner. Of course, I wouldn't know if it was defective, so I'm interested with the details on that. Why was the meter changed?
Well, was it the whole meter that was changed or just a portion of the meter? There are several parts to a meter.
Yeah, right. Well, right. I think y'all would have the better details on that than I would.
Were you there when the meter was changed?
Okay, no,
No, you weren't. You
No,
were not
it's-
present at the time.
correct.
So you didn't see what it was they did.
I didn't. Do you all know what service was performed at that
All right,
time?
yes. So now, Nancy, why don't we turn to the city and let
Right,
them,
I was just about, we're on the same wavelength there. Let's hear a little bit more from the city, and that may give both you and the board a chance to understand a little bit better what was going on.
I actually have a couple of questions for the petitioner before we move forward. Mr. Lewis, did you have a tenant in the property during in 2020 and 2021?
Well, I generally keep properties tenant occupied. Now, I'm not sure in that period of time. Yeah, I'm remiss for not knowing. Let's see. The current tenant moved in. The answer would be yes. Yes, I did. You know, you might have evidence of the water bill being in a tenant's name at that time.
So you don't live in that property or haven't lived in that property?
No, I do not.
Okay.
And have you attempted to collect any of this amount from a tenant who lived in the property from September from in 2020 or 2021?
No, I have not.
So
That would be that would really not be practical, I don't think, or possible. Charging a tenant after move. Okay, so this was circled around. I believe in just previous to this, a new tenant moved in December.
December of which year?
December of 20. So a tenant moved in December of 20. So the other tenant had moved out, like I believe in October, late October. So you know, upon the new tenant being there, then there's I don't see that as being any possibility. A tenant had moved out of the property of going back, and I don't believe that would be possible in any way.
and while your tenant was in the property, were they responsible for the water bill?
Yes. But you're talking about a tenant that moved out 3 months prior, and okay, although I don't mean to supersede your question. I had a tenant move out in late October, a new tenant move in December. Typically the tenants do have the bill in their name. That's the way I operate. And I certainly couldn't charge the new tenant for a surprise bill. And there's no way practically of charging an old tenant who moved out 3 months previous. I don't think that would hold up in any way, shape, or form.
all right, so let's see if we can follow up on this. Ms. Gonzalez and Ms. Brockington Long, was there a tenant account during this period of time? And who were the bills going to?
Okay. Okay, give me 1 second. Let me do this.
and currently the bill is in the tenant's name, although it took a few months for her actually to get that done during the COVID period, getting things changed over. That would
Yeah,
usually it's a pretty quick process. That was somewhat lengthy.
Okay, so there are quite a few other accounts. Let me see.
Actually going
Yes,
to get to this in my case in chief, and it may be able to set it up
Okay, why don't we,
comprehensible.
I guess, I would guess the heart of the matter really is how did this deficiency come about? What was the nature of whether it was the meter change or the earth change? And how did the deficiency arise? I'm not sure the tenant changes are really gonna give us anything that we need to know.
No, I just was, there was very little information from the petitioner's original statement as to whether or not the property was occupied, and it was not clear, and I wanted to make sure we all fully understood.
But I am, regardless of the tenant, ultimately I am responsible, for the water bill, as I well know, and you all well know. So that's why I'm here. But yeah, I generally have the bill in the tenant's name, and in some cases that they can be with the TAP program or get significant discounts, which is extremely meaningful, to them.
Okay, we're gonna let Ms. Lewis share the city's information now.
Good afternoon, Ms. Brockington Long. Have you had an opportunity to review this water customer's account?
I have
What type of property is this?
the residential,
And who is the owner of this property?
Timothy Lewis,
When did they purchase the property?
September 10th, 2008,
And how do you know?
per Philodox.
Is the property currently occupied?
Yes,
By whom?
a tenant.
And how do you know that?
There's a tenant account and per basis.
And was there an active tenant account during the period in question?
Yes,
What charges appeared on the customer's bill for the period in question?
usage, stormwater and service.
Were those charges actual or estimated when they were billed?
They were estimated.
And about how long were those estimated readings?
Well, actually, there were 31 months of estimated readings.
Did technicians go out to the property around this time?
Technician went out on March 4th, 2021,
And why did they go out?
due to the estimated usage.
And what did they find, if anything, and what did they do?
Well, they found that the ERT was not working and they changed the ERT.
What was the result of that ERT change?
There was an adjustment made to the account, and the account was back billed for usage, for actual usage.
What was that adjustment based upon?
It was based on the actual reading taken at the time of the ERT change.
So that the meter was working, the ERT was
The
not
meter,
transmitting?
that's correct. The meter was working, but the ERT died.
And approximately how long of a period does that adjustment cover?
It's from July 20th, 2018 through March 4th, 2021. So that's 31 months.
And what is the implied average of usage over that period?
4.61 CCFs.
And is that in line with the normal usage of the account?
Yes, it is.
And after that ERT was changed, has the property been billed for usage regularly?
Yes, there's been actual usage. Yes.
And when was the last time the petitioner made a payment towards this water sewer bill?
The last time the owner made the payment was October 26, 2021. And there's been a recent payment made by the tenant, January 24th, 2023.
I have no further questions for Ms. Brockington Long. I will.
Right.
Sorry. No, I'll wait for
Okay, I have some questions for Ms. Brockington Long. So you just said the last tenant payment was 124.23. Are you saying that there were no payments between October of 21 and January of 23?
Oh, no, I was just saying that was the most recent.
Okay, so the tenant's been making payments,
Yes.
correct?
Mhm.
Okay, so you testified that the estimated usage period was 31 months. And I have two questions about the time period. When you gave us the numbers for the dollar amounts in question, you read out 9/16/2020 to 3/15/2021. Why did you not start back at 7/20/18?
Because on the customer's bill, that's the time frame that's given, but that final read covers, the full amount of the estimated usage.
And does that $1,081 cover that full time period?
Yes, it does.
Okay, so then I'm looking at the account history we've been provided. I guess it says page 1. And in looking at the date of 3/4/21, right before the ERT, which is the same date the ERT was changed, the number of months listed is 43 months, not 31 months. And it doesn't have a monthly average. So now I'm confused as to the actual time period that Mr. Lewis is being billed for.
Okay, so my calculations, I can do them again. My calculations came to 31 months from July 20th, 18 through March 4th, 2021.
Okay,
That should be 31 months.
so the account history is incorrect. Is
Yeah,
that
that might, yes, that's an error.
okay? And at any time during all of that time, if you know, were bills going to the tenants or the tenant account holders as opposed to Mr. Lewis?
Well, let's see. Looks like there was a final tenant read on November 27th, 18. So it looks like prior to that, the bills were going to the tenant. Now, I don't know, let's see, between that time and the time they changed the ERT, if he had a tenant in between that time.
I guess my question is, was Mr. Lewis ever notified as the owner of the property that in fact usage was not being detected by the ERT?
Right. If the tenant had a tenant account, the bills probably would have gone to the service address. Now, whether Mr. Lewis requested that he also receive bills during that time, that I don't know.
Do your records show, what do your records show in terms of tenant activity? Because you obviously have at least some tenant months shown, but are there gaps or do they go from one tenant to another tenant?
Let's see. Okay, so.
Just,
Okay, so the most recent tenant is Tammy Ellen, and her account began October 16, 2021. So I would have to go back to see who had a tenant, who had an account prior to that.
just if I might add, the tenant prior to that's last name, her name was Nadia Lewis, coincidentally.
Okay,
And I'm more or less certain the bill that should show up as the bill being in her name.
okay, I can find that.
If I
Okay.
may, I
Nadia.
believe I may be able to clear this up.
Yes.
There is that Mr. Lewis did receive notice of estimated usage prior to the ERT being replaced.
And how do you know that?
The bills that were sent to Mr. Lewis during the period right before the ERT was changed. Miss Brockington Long, could you please identify this document?
Oh, this is a water bill.
And what property is this water bill for?
It is for 1539 North Myrtlewood. I'm sorry, South Myrtlewood.
And to whom is this bill addressed?
Timothy Allen. And there's a PO box address.
And is there anywhere on this bill that would indicate that the usage was not being recorded properly?
Yes, if you see the grid here with the sky blue bars, that's an indication that that's estimated usage. That's what that means. And also, I think it says estimate, I'm sorry, I can't see. But I believe that says estimated readings as well.
And is there anything on this bill that alerts, that gives water customers are there any instructions to note that if there's something amiss with the meter that they should reach out and contact us?
Yes, there's a sentence here right above the bar that states, I think this says you've received estimated usage for a period of months. Please call this number, and it has the number for them to call.
And if I may ask a couple of questions of Mr. Lewis.
Please do.
Mr. Lewis, can you see the screen?
Yes,
And is this PO Box 709, is that in Spring House, Pennsylvania? Is that a current address for you?
it is. That would be a copy of the tenant's, let's see, what period of this? This is prior to the tenant this was a new tenant, and the bill was temporarily in my name. This bill is December to January. Perhaps that's what prompted the meter being changed. I would have been receiving the bill for probably December or November, December, January. And I don't know how long it takes to get a meter changed at that time. But that's likely what prompted the meter being changed.
But you do recognize that what that signifies is that this property was not being billed for whatever water was being used.
I do, and that prompted certainly that's what prompted the meter being changed. You know, I think I reacted probably as fast as one could to get that done. This bill right here would be between tenants, between Nadia Lewis, which should show up, and then Tammy Allen, who moved in. She actually moved in December of 20, but was not able to get the bill changed to her name until October.
Ms. Gonzalez, you can stop sharing your screen.
Okay, thank you. Sorry.
No, it's okay. Are there any more questions from anyone?
Question for the city in terms of looking at the payments. Were payments made during that time period that was showing up as the estimated reads, or are those still outstanding?
Well, I'm actually looking at the account of Nadia Lewis, which was the previous tenant, and there were payments made on the account. And her, she was in the property from November 28, 18 through September 15, 20. And the current tenant, again, October 16, 2021, that's when she, started her tenant account. And she's been paying, well, her last payment was January 2023.
If I may make a
Payments been
comment,
pretty consistent.
she's been trying to, and she did lose her job. She's been trying to be on the TAP program for about 9 months, and it's so much slower to get on the program these days. She's struggling to keep up with her bill, and boy, it would be a blessing if that would just go through. But her bills, she keeps her water, a good watch on her water. She doesn't, have a high water bill, but she struggles to pay it.
Well, hopefully she'll get her approval soon. If there isn't anything more, are we ready to go back? Nancy?
I do have one quick question for Ms. Brockington Long. For the period of September, pardon me. Make sure, right. From September 2020 to March 2021, what does the payment history look like when the bill was in Mr. Lewis's name and not in a tenant's name?
What period is that?
There was, okay,
September 20,
to March 21.
21st. March of 21.
Yeah, there's one payment. Yeah. Very inconsistent. It's like two payments.
And if I may, I do have a brief closing statement. Very, very brief.
Go ahead.
In this instance, again, the property was occupied for the majority, if not all of this period. Furthermore, this was rebuilt based on actual usage. And that actual usage is very well in line with the character of the account in general. And Mr. Lewis was aware that there were issues with the ERT registering, with something registering. So he was on notice that there was some potential for rebilling. He's a landlord that owns multiple properties. He's very well versed, as you can tell, in the ins and outs of the system. This is not something that is outside of the realm of fairness or equity in this case. And as again, while he discusses that it was not feasible for him to go after a previous tenant, that is whether or not that is the case, that is irrelevant to this particular decision. A water bill is the owner's responsibility, regardless of who consumes the water.
And may I also make a closing statement?
Yeah, I was going to ask if you had anything to add before we stepped aside.
I reacted quickly upon the bill temporarily being in my name to have the ERT changed. And yes, I do manage quite a few properties, and I take great pride in myself of being a very fastidious and constant collection agent for the water company, making sure water bills are being paid. I take it all very seriously. And I thank you all for your time being here today and listening and doing what you do.
We ready?
Yes.
I guess so.
All right,
Step aside.
hold tight. Thank you so much.
Time for me to go?
No, you stay still. We're stepping aside to a separate
okay.
meeting room in order to discuss a decision.
I'll be here when you come back.
Yes, please do.
Nancy, everyone is back.
Okay, fine, thank you. It's the board's decision to reduce the usage from July 20th, 2018 to March 4th, 2021 to 200 cubic feet per month. You'll get a letter from us that spells out our decision. Both sides do have the right to appeal to the Court of Common Pleas within 30 days of the date of our letter. But I'm going to assume for the moment that neither side's going to appeal to court. And if that becomes the case, then shortly after the 30-day period passes, the petitioner should work with the city in terms of reaching payment arrangements for that time period from July 20th, 2018 to March 4th, 2021. And as I said earlier, to reduce the usage in that time period to 200 cubic feet per month.
Mr. Lewis, we cannot do the bill calculation and give you a dollar figure, but I will just say that that is approximately 1/2 of what they actually
Thank you.
back billed for.
Yeah,
So that
thank you
will
for
provide-
clarifying that.
That will provide you significant relief for that period of time.
And that's, I remember somebody suggesting something about 400, 200. So yeah, I get it.
Okay.
Okay, good, thank you.
So you'll get a letter from the tax review board, and then you will get an adjusted bill from water revenue sometime after that.
Right, because they have to allow the time period for appeals to the court if either side should choose to do so. And that's what elongates the time period.
I thank you for your time. I wish the parking garage didn't cost so darn much.
Sorry, there's
about
nothing we can do
that.
about that. We do too, actually.
Okay, let's concur that, Paula.
Yeah.
George Matthews, I concur.
Thank you. Paula Weiss, I concur.
And Nancy Cameron, I concur. We thank you for coming in, and you'll get that letter from us that starts the whole process within about 2 weeks.
It's been delightful, but may I leave now then?
Yes, you may. Thank you very much for coming in.
All right, the next case, I believe is case number, oh shoot. I read it. 3, there we go. Melissa has something or another. Ma'am? Just have a seat.
Okay.
Speak nice and loud.
Okay.
What's up?
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Give you a moment to get settled.
Sure. Just have to get my glasses out so I can see everybody. Okay.
The next item on our agenda is case number 3 for Melissa Dillow, or I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that correctly. Last 4 digits of the docket. I'm trouble reading this. 9883. Property address is 4761 James Street. Please identify yourself for the record.
Melissa Santos these days. Dillow is my maiden name. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
We have that on the listing. The property address may still contain your maiden name.
It does. It does.
Okay. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth with everything that comes before the board?
Yes.
Okay, fine. Thank you. Who has this matter for the city?
Yes, Adriana Gonzalez on behalf of the city.
And Madam Chair, can I confirm the spelling of the petitioner's name?
Sure. Please, that's the court reporter who's asking. If you could identify your current last name that you're using.
Sure. Santos.
I should say the docket has Milissa. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay, it was just unusual. Thank you.
Yes, it is. I'm the only one.
It's good to be unique sometimes.
Who has this matter for the city?
Yes, Adriana Gonzalez on behalf of the city with Miss Brockington Long.
Okay. If we could have the numbers for the record.
Yes, the period in question is April 2nd, 2018 through June 1st, 2022. Principal, $2,111.48. Penalty, $203.55. Lien, $274.35, and the total, $2,589.38.
Okay, thank you.
Brockington Long, before we let you go for a minute, could you tell us what the current balance is?
The current balance is $2,310.97.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, Nancy, I just needed to have that.
Does the city have anything to add before we turn to the petitioner?
No, I'd like to hear from the petitioner.
Okay, fine, thank you. Then let's turn to the petitioner. Please tell us why you're here and what it is you're looking for from this board.
Sure. So in 2018, I had renters that I had to evict because they had not paid rent for the prior 8 months. Subsequently, I discovered that the water bill was not being paid. So I'm taking full responsibility, of course, for the bill. I actually have the original here from June of 2018. So when I contacted the water department to resolve the bill, I was told that it went into collections. So I then called the collection company whose number they gave me, and I was told that it went back to the water department. So there was nothing they can do about it. So, and then of course the pandemic happened, and I was actually trying to resolve the bill for probably, I'm going to say an estimated year. And this again was during the pandemic. So I know that anytime I called the water department, and I believe people were at home at the time or whatever the case was, I'm not sure, but it did say, if you want to speak to a live person, remain on the line and press 1, which I always did. And then it just completely hung up. You can never reach anybody, just putting that out there. So I did leave callback numbers, of course. I did. There were a few times where I did receive callbacks, and for whatever reason, the person on the other end couldn't hear me. And that happened on 2 separate occasions. I'm not sure why. In the meantime, so the water was shut off because the tenants, I no longer had tenants. The water was shut off because of the overdue bill.
When was the water shut off?
It was shut off in 2018. And then I'm not sure at which point it was turned back on or why it was turned back on. So the house was still vacant, and I discovered that the pipes had burst. I had significant damage to the house, which I, have since paid over $40,000 worth of repairs for, and a water bill with over $2,000 now. So, like I said, I am taking responsibility, of course, for the bill when I had the tenants in there. I have no issue with that whatsoever. My dispute is the bill leading up to, or how it got up to $2,000, and how the water and why the water was turned back on, which led to the pipes bursting and water damage.
When you said the water was turned off or shut off in 2018, did you have a plumber do the shut off? Did the city do the shut off?
The city did the shut off.
At your request?
Correct.
And it was actually turned off, that there shouldn't have been any water flowing through the pipes?
Correct. And I have the bill here from 2018 shows the usage charge of 0.
Okay, we can't see what you're holding up.
I was told that I thought you have the bill.
But I'm just saying, we may have it, but I'm just saying we don't know what it is you're holding up.
Oh, okay. So this bill shows that there was no water because it's 0 usage, $0 usage. Yeah.
And how much is that actual bill for?
$588.16.
And has that been paid?
No.
Okay, and why not?
Again, this was the original bill that I was trying to resolve, which led then to the other bill of $2,000. So,
but you said you're taking responsibility for that.
Absolutely. Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you haven't made a payment towards it.
Well, no, because it's not 588 anymore. It's 2,000 something with all these penalties and water fees and water being turned back on.
Thanks. Okay.
But when was the water turned back on?
I have no idea. I don't know why. The property was vacant. So I was told through speaking with someone at the water department that during the pandemic, it was mandated to be turned back on. I don't know.
So why don't we turn to the city? They probably have that information. They should have that information in their records. If the water department actually turned it back on.
Sure. I do have a couple of questions for Ms. Santos.
Yes.
My apologies.
No problem.
You said that during a lot of this period, the property was occupied, correct?
During the what period? I'm sorry.
During the period you're disputing. during some of that period, the property was occupied.
Up until 2000, so the only thing I'm disputing is anything past 2018, June of 2018, when the property was vacant. It was vacant that entire time.
And is it your contention that the water wasn't used, or just that you don't agree with the bill?
I do not agree with the bill. The water was turned off. Again, I don't know how it got turned back on or why it was turned off. The property was
And
vacant.
you didn't get any notice that it was turned back on?
So no, I did not get any notice. And in fact, on top of that, so obviously I would go by the property, periodically to check the mail and stuff. And apparently the mail, which I later found out, was being stolen because two neighbors on that same street were using that address. And I reported them to DHS. And the only reason I know that is because when I went into the property to have it, redone, one of the neighbors came up to me and asked if what were we doing with the property? And I asked her, I told her that it was being renovated. And I said, why, just out of curiosity, why are you asking? And she said, oh, because I used that address because I'm homeless. So I was using that address.
Oh my.
So, and like I said, I did report them to DHS. So, I don't know if there were actual bills. The only time I saw bills when it was starting to be sent to my residential address, which is 7518 Tabor Avenue. I didn't see any bill being sent to 4761 James Street.
When did you ask to have it sent to your address?
I
assume you asked to have it.
I did not. I never asked to have it to my address. And in fact, I was shocked that it wasn't being sent to my address.
When your property is unoccupied, approximately how frequently do you visit?
I would say once every couple months.
And when your property is unoccupied, how is it secured?
Through door locks.
And you stated that the pipes burst in the property?
Correct.
When approximately did that occur?
I couldn't tell you because as far as I knew, the water was off and should have been off. So I don't know when that would have occurred. That's the whole thing. I don't know when that would have occurred. I was never informed. I didn't know the water was ever turned back on. There was no reason for the water to be turned back on because it was vacant property. I don't know why it was turned back on.
And did you have a vacant property license for the period that it was unoccupied?
Yes.
Okay. If I may, I'm going to turn to Ms. Brockington Long. My apologies for me clicking around. Ms. Brockington Long, have you had an opportunity to review this water customer's account?
Yes,
What type of property is this?
it's a residential property.
And who is the owner of this property?
Melissa Dillow,
When did the petitioner purchase the property?
January 31st, 1994,
And how do you know?
per Philodox.
Was the property occupied during the period in question?
Yes.
And how do you know?
The water customer states per an August 31st, 2021 call that the property was tenant occupied and she had a leak.
Not possible. Sorry, I'm sorry. I don't mean to interrupt. That's not possible. I did not make that call. No one lived in that property since 2018. That's absolutely not possible. Sorry. I mean, I don't know, maybe you have tenants or owners mixed up. Absolutely 100, equivocally 100% not me. That property was vacant, been vacant since I evicted the previous tenants.
And is there any information in our system about who occupied the property during the period in question?
What do you mean?
Sorry if you answered that previously.
Okay. aside from the call.
And what was that call note dated again?
August 31, 21.
And what charges appeared on the customer's bills for the period in question?
Usage, stormwater, and service.
And are those charges actual or estimated?
They're actual, and there's actual zero usage as well.
Did technicians go out to the property around this time?
Well, to service the meter?
Or
Well,
sure,
well,
yes.
okay. The water was shut off on May 10th, 2018.
Okay.
And there's also noted twice for illegal restores on the account.
And has PWD gone out to restore water service to the property?
They did restore the water on August 31st, 2021.
Okay, and that's the only time since 2018 that PWD went out to restore?
Yes, that PWD went to restore, yes.
Okay, and you said that was August 2021.
Yes.
What is the payment history like for this account?
It's currently consistent, but there's long gaps of non-payments between 2018 and 2021.
I have no further questions for Ms. Brockington Long. Oh, I do have one more question with Brockington Long. Why might the billing address have been changed from the bills to going to the property to some other address?
Well, the only way is if either the owner called and said that requested that, or someone called stating that they were the owner and requested that.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
I have no further questions for Ms. Brockington Long, but I do want to, sorry.
All right, I have one question.
Mhm.
I'm looking again at the account history we have for this, and I'm looking at 4/21/20, Ms. Brockington Long. You said that preface at which water department went out in August of 2021. Is that correct?
Yes, to restore the water.
Yes. So
Yeah.
in April of 2020,
Mhm.
I'm looking at the account history that says there's a reading that covers 24 months.
Repeat that, please.
In
Sorry.
April 21st, 2020, the meter reading on the account history says that it covers 24 months. Is that, how would we have gotten a 24-month reading?
I'm going back. You said April 21st.
April 21st, 2020.
Okay, let me go back. April 21st, 2020. I see a reading and it's 1200 CCFs.
And it says 24 months. That's
And the
okay.
reading before that was 4/19/18.
Thank you. Yes.
Okay, well, no, because where do you see 24 months?
On the
Where
sheet,
it says number of months.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay, well, that's, okay, but it's a 1 month reading. They're just going by, because there was zero usage and on the account history go from, I don't know why it was 24.
This shows a 2-year gap.
Could Ms. Brockington Long, could you share the reading history for the account directly from Basis?
Okay.
Because if I may, I believe that 24 notes that the months between 4/19/18 and 4/21/20 was the period of actual zero usage.
The
So
period of
rather
what?
than write out that it was,
Yeah,
it seems as though it was collapsed.
Wait, I'm still trying to get this to. I'm hitting share, it's not sharing. I don't know why it's not sharing. I'm hitting share. Screen to try. Move. Oh, I'm not able to.
There we go.
Oh, okay. Okay, so here we are, April 21st, 2020. Okay, this is just a 1 month read. I don't know why the account history is reading 12 months. This is zero usage, but this is actual zero usage. You see what I'm saying? So this is just a 1 month read.
So Ms. Brockington Long, is it possible that our account history sheet was truncated because of that long period of zero
Yes,
usage?
yes, that's all. Yes, because those are actual zeros.
Thank you.
Do you want me to continue to share?
No, I think that's everything.
Okay.
If I may, I do have a few additional questions for the petitioner.
Okay.
Ms. Santos, you said you had a vacant property license for the period that you maintained the property. You didn't have tenants. Do you happen to have a copy of that license?
I do not.
When did your rental license expire?
I don't know. That I don't know.
So if I may, I'm going to share my screen. I have a couple more questions. Ms. Santos, is this page visible to you?
Yes.
So, pardon me, I'm going to navigate back. Is this the L&I page for your property?
Yes.
And generally, as licenses are listed here, can you point to where your vacant property license is on this screen?
A vacant property license?
The one that you stated you had?
I thought you were asking about a renter's license. I don't know. I didn't know there was such thing as a vacant property license. I have no idea what a vacant property license is.
And when did you say your property was vacant?
2018.
And when did you acquire your property, your rental license?
2018.
I'm going to stop sharing. I have nothing further no further questions for the petitioner, and would reserve any further comments for a brief closing at the board's pleasure.
I guess I just want to confirm a couple of things. Ms. Santos, you're telling us that the property's been vacant since 2018, correct?
Yes, not any longer.
Oh, when was it? So now it's being rented again?
It is, yes.
As of what date?
January 22.
22.
Say that again, January?
Roughly January 2022?
Okay, 2022. I missed the 2022.
Yes.
I'm seeing actual water usage though, as per the city's account history,
Okay.
for almost the entire time period in 2020 and 2021. I know you said you were having work done,
Yes.
and
In
would it-
2021.
okay, 2021. So that there was water again in use in the property, is that correct?
Yes, and all those bills have been paid, and
Okay.
they've been paid ever since, up to date. All
I think you mentioned earlier, August of 21, August 21st, 31st. I'm not sure exactly what the date was, but it was sometime in August of 2021 that the water was restored. Did I note that correctly?
That's what Ms. Brockington Long testified to, yes, as far as this
Okay.
is. Okay, that was my question. Thank you.
Sure.
George, do you have any questions?
Yeah, I have one question to Ms. Santos. Ms. Santos, was there any break-in in the building when it was empty, when you were not renting it out?
I'm sorry, say that again?
was there any break-in? Anybody was living there? Anyone was breaking in?
Not that I'm aware of, no. There was, I mean, the locks were still secure and everything, so not that I'm aware of.
Okay, thank
I'm
you.
going to piggyback on that. Did you have outdoor spigots
Yes.
and were they turned off or still functioning?
Again, I mean, like I said, the water,
You thought the water was turned off?
yes, it was turned off. I don't know when it was turned back on or why. I have no idea.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sure.
Does the city have any wrap-up comments? I think you indicated there was something you wanted to add something after we had gone through our questions.
Yes,
Go ahead.
yes. It is the city's position that the petitioner has not met their burden. In this case, their petition on its face does not dispute our billing, does not dispute any of the actual usage issues, does not dispute any issues with the equipment, nor has Ms. Santos brought up any of those issues during this hearing. The issues that Ms. Santos seems to be bringing before this board are customer service issues and the fact that pipes burst in her home. And she acknowledges that there was a leak in her home during the period in question. Therefore, all of the usage that Ms. Santos is being charged for has been fully explained by Ms. Santos herself. Furthermore, during the period in question, she had rental license, and it is noted, I believe I showed on the screen, and those are documents that I submitted with the board, Ms. Santos's rental license for the property. She stated that she rented the property this January. However, her rental license expired in 2020. Also, during the period that Ms. Santos claims the property was vacant, she stated that she only visits her property every 2 or 3 months, which is, again, that is in order to maintain and knowledge of the property and to maintain the property. That's generally not frequent enough to have a understanding of what is happening in the property. Furthermore, as Ms. Santos notes, the water was restored. The city testified to the fact that was not done by PWD. The water was restored by some third party. And in any case, for any unpaid balances left by the previous tenant, Ms. Santos may seek those balances from that previous tenant if she hasn't already. In fact, she has. However, the case was dismissed for lack of service, but that does not preclude her from seeking that in the future. And with respect to the rest of the balance, again, Ms. Santos testified to the fact that her pipes burst, a condition that was not caused in any way by the city, nor should the city bear responsibility for. It is the city's request that this petition be denied.
Can I interject?
Yeah, I was just going to ask if that ended the comments from the city, and then we'll turn to you for anything before we go to step aside. So that ended the city's comments? Is that correct?
Yes, this petitioner has not met their.
We'll turn then to the petitioner for anything that she wants to add before the board steps aside.
So did I hear you right in saying that you're saying that the water department did not turn the water back on? Is that what I'm hearing?
Prior to August 2021, when we restored the water that's the first time the water was restored by the city since 2018.
So how is their usage then? If the water was not restored by the city, how would there have been usage?
There are illegal restorations that occur. I mean, the city wouldn't know, the water department wouldn't know.
Okay, well, it's a vacant property, so why would the water be restored on a vacant property? If you're saying, what I'm hearing you say is that it was illegally restored, why would it be illegally restored on a vacant property if no one was living there? That doesn't make.
Someone may have gotten into the property and restored the water.
That's what makes it illegal.
Right, and for some, I mean, you did testify that your neighbors, that people were using it for mail purposes. They might have been using it for water purposes as well. We don't know. You wouldn't know. The city wouldn't know.
Okay, but I'm sorry. I was also told that the water department was mandated to turn it back on during the pandemic. So where does that information fit in? I was told it was turned back on, mandated for the city of Philadelphia. to restore all water. That's what I was told. So
By whom? Someone from the city, or who did you hear that from? Do you
from the water,
remember?
from when I spoke with someone at the water department, that's what they told me.
Okay, that's what
Because
I'm trying to find out the source.
Yeah, because I kept asking how is their usage if you turned it off? How did it get turned back on? And so I was told that it was mandated with the pandemic that all water be restored. That was what I was told.
Does the city have any comments on that?
So while that may have been the case that the water was going to be restored, restores don't happen overnight. So it may have been some time before that happened. Also, if we had a note of a legal restore and saw usage, the city would have no reason to go out to restore water that was already restored illegally.
The water history that we have that was forwarded to us with the information for today shows fairly high usage in the time period between 11/18/20 and 24/21. Does the city have any comments on that? Because that would have been in a time period that it may or may not have been turned on.
So what I will say is, I believe there was an illegal restore, and I can share my screen if
So if there was an illegal restore, why wouldn't anybody take action against the owner? If there was an illegal restore, why wouldn't you take action against the homeowner? I don't understand. Or why wouldn't you even reach out anything to the homeowner to say, hey, you have an illegal restore. This is the first I'm hearing of an illegal restore.
Did you know when the water was restored? There was some indication in my notes about water being restored in August of 21, but what's showing up on the account history shows water usage, high water usage in an earlier time period.
Again, I don't know.
Had you seen any numbers like that before?
No.
Okay.
But I don't know if Ms. Gonzalez can answer that question, but if that may not be information we have today, because the water department itself is not represented. This is water revenue.
Okay. Yeah, right. I'm just curious.
Yeah, I know.
If you know that something's illegal restore, why would you not reach out to the owner? That doesn't make any sense.
Ms. Gonzalez.
Hey, Miss Dillow, you illegally restored your water. No, nobody ever said that to me. Nobody. I was told that it was turned on, mandated by the city during the pandemic. And now I'm being told that it was illegally restored, yet nobody reached out to me. That doesn't make any sense. I'm sorry.
All right, Ms. Gonzalez, if you have any answer to that.
So the notice that a property has been restored would be that the owner starts receiving. So generally, owners are very well aware of the conditions of the properties they own. So if the illegal restore is not coming from the owner, it would be coming from at the owner's direction, or they would realize that there was water service at their property very quickly if they visited more frequently than every 2 or 3 months. Furthermore, the bill with usage on it would be a first indication of an illegal restore, because what follows after water is restored would be water usage. So that is the first clue that the water had been restored. And as a note to the pandemic era issues, that the city did not begin restoring water until March 25th of 2020. They were continually restoring water at that point. And if the water was subsequently they started with accounts. This is directly from the city's website. They started with accounts that lost water on March 13th, 2020, and then were moving through the other delinquent accounts that had been shut off for non-payment. It is possible that by the time this property came up on a list, there had already been an illegal restore
that the owner was never notified about. And I guess the other question is, with my renter's license, it has my mailing address on it. So why would a rental property, why would mail not be sent to the owner's listed address on the renter's license?
Again, I would note that Miss Dillow did not have a rental license for the majority of the period this property has been rented.
Okay, so I
does
think
not currently have a rental license.
That, and if there's nothing new, Nancy, maybe we want to step back.
Yes, I was going to say the same.
Okay, let's hold on. Board is going back to discuss.
What does everybody else think?
Not yet, not yet.
Oh.
That's some doozies today. Nancy, everyone is back.
Okay, fine, thank you. The board's considered everything we've heard, and it's our decision to abate the penalty. You'll get a letter from us that spells out our decision. you have the right to appeal to the Court of Common Pleas within 30 days of the date of our decision. That goes to both sides. Assuming that neither side chooses to appeal, then after the 30-day period elapses, arrangements should be made to enter into payment for all the amounts that remain outstanding. And it's important that that be done as soon as possible in terms of determining a payment plan or whatever the appropriate arrangements are for paying any outstanding amounts that are still due and owing.
This is
Do
Paula
I have
Weiss.
concurrence from board members?
Paula Weiss, I concur.
George Matthews, I concur.
Nancy Camerino, I concur. So you should get a letter from us within 2 weeks, and that begins the 30-day period for any appeals to the Court of Common Pleas. And from that point on, arrangements need to be made between the parties in order to deal with any arrearages that still remain. Thank you very much for coming in today.
Thank you.
All right. So Jay, Sim, and Jay, are you guys still there? Thank you for your patience.
Oh, no problem. We're still here. Thank you.
Thank you for your patience.
Nancy, go ahead.
It was actually entertaining for us, so just to kind of see. Thank you.
This is item number 1 on our agenda, and I please excuse my pronunciations. This is for Sim Jae-hyu
Jae-hyun, yes.
and Jake Kwan. Last 4 digits of the docket 9989. Property address is 135 South 10th Street. Please identify yourselves for the record.
So I'm Jae-hyun Sim. I'm the older brother.
And you
Hi,
are?
my name is Misun Sim. That's Misun. I'm Jade's wife. I'm hoping I'm allowed to be here today.
And I'm Jane Kwan Sim. I am the younger brother.
Oh, okay. I was forgetting you were on another screen there. For each of you, do you swear or affirm to tell the truth with everything that comes before the board?
Yes.
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 Okay, fine, thank you. Who has this matter for the city?
Adriana Gonzalez on behalf of the city. And just as a preliminary matter, I was in communication with the petitioner, but and we had discussed resolving this appeal, but I hadn't heard back from them.
Oh yeah, Adriana. Yeah, thank you for getting back to me yesterday. And I guess just with the timing of everything, we decided just to proceed with the hearing. I should have let you know, and thank you for preparing the written document. But I think we were still like, my wife was already here. Like, if I can say it that way, like she kind of wanted to see it through. If that's okay to say.
We will be preparing for that.
So what does that mean in terms of discussion here at today's hearing?
I mean, the city had hoped to have, if was unclear as to whether or not this was proceeding, and the meter shop witness, Mr. Dabowski, is not available today.
Oh.
And I did not have that, wasn't sure of the status of this. So I mean, I can proceed, but the city would prefer if we were able to continue this, but I understand if that is not possible.
I would say, Nancy, that we go forward. And then if
we've had the petitioner waiting for all this time, but I don't know whether the petitioner is ready to go forward and wants to, and I say petitioner, but there are 3 of you who would need to concur in that. And so I don't know whether you need to discuss whether you want to move forward today, or if you want to have a delay on this.
No, we can move forward. And then Adriana, I mean, you're okay, like maybe just kind of, if you wanted to like summarize them on like, I guess what we had talked about yesterday, but
so those things are not
on the table.
What we spoke about yesterday is not, settlement discussions are not admissible at all.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, no problem. So I'll let
and
you...
any mention of which I would vehemently object to.
Okay, all right, no problem. I got you. So I guess, and I don't know if you guys have a summary of like what, how things transpired. Basically, as of right now, like we owe the city water like $8,700 in change or something like that. And my brother and I, we recently came into this position because my dad had passed away in September of 2012.
All right, so Mr. Sim, I'm going to interrupt. I'm going to interrupt for a minute.
Okay.
We do want to hear all of this, but I think we have some preliminary information we need first.
Okay.
We want to get,
Right.
so we have the actual dollar amounts and we know exactly what time periods we're talking about. And then we do want to hear from you as to what transpired and how.
Oh, okay, yeah, you guys can leave. You guys can drive. Yeah.
Just
Okay.
hang on. So, can we go back?
So that, see, I had asked, or I hadn't really asked the city to identify the numbers for the record. And we should probably do that. And anything else we need to set the stage on what it is that's before us that is coming from the city as opposed to the petitioner. So I don't know whether Ms. Gonzalez wants to make an opening comment in terms of where we are, or just go to Ms. Brockington to get the numbers for the record.
My only opening comments are that this is a open and functioning business and has been the entirety of the disputed period.
And what was the second part, the last thing you said?
It has been at the entirety of the disputed period.
Oh, okay.
All right, well, can we get the time period and the dollars that are in dispute?
Okay, so they're disputing the balance transfer, and that occurred December 16, 21. And they're also disputing the April 18, 2022 bill. The principal is $8,718.32. Zero penalty, zero lien, and the total is $8,718.32.
Can you break out the balance transfer amount?
Yes. The balance transfer is $8,640.59.
And that was December 16th, 21, I believe you gave the date.
Yes.
And then April of 22, or was it April 22nd of another date? I wasn't getting the whole date.
Sure. It's April 18, 2022. It's a bill in the amount of $77.73.
$7?
$77.
Oh, $77, okay.
And 73 cents.
Okay. Are there any other numbers for the record that should be identified?
Nope, that's it.
Okay. Does the city have anything else before we turn to the petitioner?
No, the city would like to hear from the petitioner.
Okay, so then we will turn to the petitioner. Is there one person who is the spokesperson, or have you divided it up? If we could have some indication of just how this is going to be presented, it would be helpful.
I think my wife's been the most involved, so I'll let her speak, and then if I can kind of.
Then you can add in.
Yeah.
Okay.
She's the boss, basically.
So we got a very significant amount of back bill. We got that mail on October of 2021. And the letter said the water meter did not work the period of 2015, February 6th to September 27, 2018. And also there is another back bill occur between, what is this? Here, and then another back bill occur up to the change in the meter in 2021. I believe it was October or September. So we are here today to negotiate down the total price today.
Oh, the back bill. And then I
Back
guess some of the context is like, this is before my brother and I ever like kind of, owned the building, all that stuff. And also the water bill in particular, there was an arrangement in the lease between the deli operator and, my parents about them paying half the water bill.
100%.
If I could interrupt you for a second, it might help us to have a better image of what it is that's in this property. It's been identified as having an open and functioning business, but we don't have any idea of how much of the property is used for the business, or there are multiple users there. It might help us to have a better sense of what is happening there.
Yeah. So this building is coded as a CMX5 commercial residential building. So first floor deli is always open, and we have a 3 apartment upstairs with a 3 tenants. And we have a tenant sometimes and not all the time. And apartment has been vacant since last February.
And how many stories are there altogether in the building?
It's 4
Four.
including the
4
basement.
stories?
Oh, 4 plus the basement. So 5, I guess, if you include the basement.
And we have a 3 residential kitchen, 1 deli. And we have a 3 bathroom in the apartment. It's a full bathroom and 1 half bathroom at the deli store.
Can you tell us when you purchased the property?
This one was from, we inheritance in Jay's parents.
Yeah.
The deed transferred the December of 2021. The father passed away at September.
of
Thank God
2020.
he passed away without knowing more.
And which year was that?
2021.
21. And so the city has said that at that time, when they call it, they say there was a balance transfer at that, to that. You
For the time.
inherited a very large water bill.
Right.
Yes.
Yes.
And so can you tell us a little bit, I don't know if you know how that came about? And I understand that you had tenants, and I did read the information. The city doesn't get involved, and we don't get involved in
Mhm.
leasing situations and whatever your
Yeah.
relationship was with your tenant.
Sure.
You know, it's the owner of the property
Yes.
Is
Ultimately has to be
responsible
for the
property.
water bill. So,
Right.
you know,
Right. So I guess
context.
where we're coming from is, you know, all the tenants, whatever, and the, you know, we have been, you know, paying our invoices, our bills on time, right? And this large bill really happened not because we weren't paying, it's because the meter was broken, right? And then we got back billed, right? So I guess my stance is, and our stance is, you know, we would, you know, it would have been paid, right? But it wasn't, we didn't get this bill, not because we weren't paying, it's because it wasn't made aware to us until later, you know? So basically we wouldn't be in this predicament if, you know, if the city's meter worked correctly. And I know this is like between not us and the city, but us and our tenants, but, you know, it's a legal document in our lease that, you know, the tenant was supposed to pay, the one store owner paid the full amount and the other one paid the half amount. So it would have been paid is what I'm saying if the bill was received in a timely manner. So I don't think we're trying to be delinquent. I mean, there was nothing like that. It's just the circumstance and just bad luck, Murphy's Law, whatever you want to call it. That's kind of where we are.
Yeah, so from the initial letter, we've been always asking the 50% abatement. So we would like to resolve that problem here today, and we want to move forward.
Move forward, yeah. And then, yeah, so I mean, even with that, like, I mean, I think we're still paying more than what, I mean, I realize that we inherited the property and all its debts and credits, but it's still a surprise. You know, we would have, we pay our credit card bills, that kind of stuff. We're not delinquent in any way. And that's, so we're paying more than what we think we should have paid, I guess, from where we're coming from, if I can say that, you know, so.
Well, in that earlier time period, were the tenants that were in there responsible for paying the bills, or was there someone from the family who was doing that before your father's death?
The deli owner,
Yeah,
the deli owner, because there's
Yeah.
only
I'm
one
sorry, I
store
couldn't-
owner. Oh,
say
the
that
deli
again?
owner, the business owner, the deli owner.
Right?
They because the bill would go to the store. It wouldn't really go to my parents or my dad at that time. It would go to him. It's one water bill for the entire building. And that's
So
why.
he was responsible for 100% of the water bill. And I was told that he sold the business 2019 because wife get the health
I'm
condition.
having trouble hearing you. I don't know whether it's your mic or my ears, which aren't always good.
So again, up to 2019, the deli business owner was responsible for water bill 100%. I sent to the documentation last night, and I was told that they had to sell the business because wife got the health condition, and she passed away 2020 with a cancer. So we cannot go, we cannot go ask for the water bill. We don't even,
We don't even know them. So,
Yeah.
I mean, it's just a kind of a human thing. Like, I can't go knock on their door and say, hey, by the way, we got this back bill. You need to pay all of it, sorry about your wife. I don't know how that would go down. So,
Okay, so maybe we want to hear from the city as to how some of this came about.
and
okay, so I guess Adrian.
Before we turn to the city, may I ask the petitioner a few questions?
Sure.
Sure.
You stated that there were 3 apartments above the deli.
Yeah.
Were those occupied from 2015 to 2020?
Oh, yeah, most definitely.
No,
I mean,
I
not the
know,
whole
no.
time, but
I
there were.
actually talked to the realtor. He always asked Jay's father to find the tenant. And he was not that cooperative, and we don't have all the detailed information, but I know that Jay's father could not collect the, rent. So I had to talk to couple tenant to ask to leave. And an apartment was, I met the Jay 2015, so I don't know what's the previous situation, but during the COVID, a tenant was not comfortable with the city of Philadelphia, so he break the rent, just left. So Jay's father just let them go. So it was empty several months, that we know. And always, people comes and goes.
Okay, and when you said you had to ask tenants to leave, do you mean evict?
They try not to pay I talk about Patrick. Yeah, it's not eviction, but I said that this is our situation.
Basically, we talked to the co-signer, which was in this case his mom,
yeah.
and she was really nice, and she just kind of,
Yeah,
made things. I mean, we didn't have to like force anybody out. It was just, hey, can you?
this is the situation.
Yeah, can
and
you just?
he didn't pay the rent for already a couple of months.
We're not
so-
going to press charge or anything like that. If you can just kind of
Yeah.
leave, quietly or something. So.
And for those leases, does the price of the apartment per month, does that include utilities?
Well, water's not included. Because there's only one water meter, so the store paid it.
So water is included at the
Yeah,
base
okay, yeah,
rent,
it's
but
included, sure.
that is deli tenant, deli owner supposed to pay, or it wasn't that much. They said it was a part of their contract.
So who was paying the water bill then?
Supposed to the deli owner, Mr. Park, he got the bill and he was paying the water bill full time. But once we got the ownership, we changed the system. The bill comes to our house. I pay and I ask the help. So I'm hoping we don't have this problem anymore.
The amounts that are before us were before that. Is that correct?
Amount.
The amounts that
before we
are
had
in
that
dispute
arrangement, yes.
here were
The bill
before
would
you
go
set up
directly
that
to the-
arrangement.
Yes, the bill would go directly to the deli owner at that time before we made this arrangement. Yes.
Right.
Yeah, I'm
But-
sorry,
but
I
we
cut
were,
in
like,
on the
kinda
city
unaware.
there.
Right.
People are
Sorry.
talking to each other.
I'm sorry,
and it's difficult for my court reporter to get everything. So just be mindful about who's going to speak. I just have any other questions from the board from Ms. Gonzalez to the petitioners?
No, not at this time.
Okay.
And I'll turn to Ms. Brockington Long, if that's.
Please.
Ms. Brockington Long, have you had an opportunity to review this water customer's account?
Yes,
What type of property is this?
it's a commercial residential property.
And who is the owner of the property?
Jay Kwan and Jay Hun Sim,
And when did they take ownership of the property?
December 16, 2021, it was inherited
Okay. And how do you know that?
per Philadox.
Is the property occupied?
Yes,
How do you know?
well, there's actual usage.
Do we have any indication in our system that the property was occupied during the question period?
I don't know. Can you rephrase that?
We can strike it. The petitioners established that the property was occupied. I didn't need to ask the question again. My apologies. What charges appeared on the customer's bills for the period in question?
Usage, stormwater, and service.
And were those charges actual or estimated?
Actual.
100%.
I'm sorry.
At this time, the city is asking questions of the witness, so you can hold your questions for afterwards. You get to ask questions to the witness too, just after the city, okay? All right.
And was there, okay. And did technicians go out to the property around this time?
Yes.
When did the technicians go out?
October 18, 2021.
And prior to that, and what did they do then?
They changed the ERT.
And prior to October 2021, did we go out any other times?
September 28th. I'm sorry, September 27, 2018. And it was, yes.
Okay. And in October 2021, why did we go out?
Well, there was a misrotate.
There was a what?
A misrotate.
Okay.
And what was the result of that, of that?
The account was rebilled based on an actual reading found on October 17th, 2021. So the account.
Explain what a misrotate is.
Thank you.
Yeah, this is why we wanted the water department. Well, basically what happens is the usage is not recorded in basis usage. So in this case, the last time the usage was recorded was September 27th, 2018. So the next time there was an actual reading taken was October 17th, 2021. So they were able to get an actual read of 52,700 CCFs. And so, and that was for a period of, how many months is that? October, that's about 3 years. And so the implied average for that time period is 14.24 CCFs.
So during the time where the usage was not being recorded, was the property owner being charged for usage?
No. No.
Was there a back bill then?
Yes, yes, there was a back bill based on that October 17, 2021 read. Yes, and the back bill covered that time period from September 16, 18 through October 17, 21.
So what did the PWD technicians do on September of 2018 that then resulted in no usage for 3 years, if you know? What were they supposed to be doing out there?
Okay, well, there was, there was zero usage. Okay, so there was zero usage prior to the misrotate. And so the account was actually adjusted twice. They received a debit adjustment on October 28th. I'm sorry, was it October 17, 2021? They did receive a debit adjustment In the
And-
amount, okay.
Sorry,
Mhm.
sorry to interrupt. You can continue. I didn't mean to interrupt.
Okay, so they did receive a debit adjustment in the amount of $4,490.40. Now, that was due to estimated usage from February 6, 15 through September 27, 2018.
And that covers the period of time where usage was unfortunately not being recorded, but the property was occupied.
Yes, yes.
And then then also for the next period of time was what was recorded on the meter, the found meter in 2018 and
Right,
2021.
right. So the debit adjustment, they back billed it. Well, they back billed it, but they back billed it based on actual usage for the property from January 13, 14 through January 12, 15. And that was at, so they back billed it at 14.41 CCFs per month. So that was based, they back billed it based on actual usage. And so that usage is in line with the rebill for the Miss Rotate as well, which was
So
13.41. So they're like the same.
Okay, so the period of estimation for 2015 to 2018 was to account for, was in line with what we found prior to and after the
Yes,
after the ERT was replaced finally.
yes.
Also, as a point, if it would be helpful to the board, I can also have our meter tech provide written testimony to supplement this, to fully explain the things that are not within Ms. Brockington Long's personal knowledge.
I
And
think
would
that,
be happy to provide that.
I think that might be helpful for the board.
I was going to say the same thing. Thank you.
Tony,
Yes,
it
I'd be happy to do that.
was very meaty, and I'm generally right on top of these things, but this one, you got me.
Yes, and I apologize for the mix up with scheduling. It was just, I was waiting for the Sims to respond and did
Well-
not have the opportunity, waiting for negotiations, not have the opportunity to make sure that Mr. Dabalski was able to attend today.
I think we need a timeline, a very clearly explained timeline, starting with 2014, since now that's been brought into evidence.
Right. But it seems that we need some written material from both sides that will help to highlight the various things we've been hearing about in this last half hour or so, that would really help us understand how the pieces fit together.
Yes, I'd be absolutely happy to provide that from the city's perspective in the meter shop.
That, is there anything specific that either of my other colleagues on the board would like to have zeroed in on in that display of information?
Yeah, along with the timeline for all of these events of visits and back bill and not back bill and debits and credits and whatever. I'd like to have the payment history as well.
Everything involved, right? Everything,
Yes.
including payment history. Yes, that's what we need.
And I think from the petitioners, it would be helpful if you guys could give us a timeline as well about when there was a deli owner, who the deli owner was. There was a lot of testimony about the occupants on the other floors. So if you could give us a timeline as well, 1 to 2 pages explaining, from 2014 on what was going on at the property. So we can match those two up.
Right.
And with those,
If they know, they didn't, they,
If you know, as much as you know.
Right. I think my wife had sent something out, an email to a Miss Melissa.
Yeah, we received it.
Okay, so that has some of the documents, but actually, if I can just ask quickly to Miss Brockington Long, and I think someone else touched on this on the panel, like the payment history. Like, have we ever been delinquent on an invoice? I mean, if I guess where we're coming from is, if we were billed properly, we would have paid properly. That's kind of part of our argument. And if we're billed in a timely manner, it would have been paid. If there were no issues with the meter, which I don't think that falls on us. I mean, yeah, we, you know, the money or the bills go with the building. I completely understand that, and there was definitely usage. We completely know that, but we can only pay what we're billed, right? We can only pay what we're billed. I don't think we've been delinquent. You know, the property. I'm sorry, the deli owner. I'm pretty sure they paid on time. You know, in full all the time.
One of the things that could be very helpful to us, there are 3 floors with tenants, and during the time period that would be covered for this discussion, it would be helpful to know which of those floors was occupied for what duration, because and I guess really part of the question is, are you paying for the water for the entire building or floor by floor? And some of that may change from time to time. And we've heard a lot of that this afternoon in pieces, but I have to admit that I've not been able to track it through from time to time. And it may have changed from time to time in terms of who was responsible for making a payment.
Yeah, so that
It may not have, but but that's what we really need to get a sense of, is who was paying for it, and did they pay, or was there outstanding money from because someone moved out and didn't pay, or whatever the explanation would be.
Okay, so the arrangement has been like the residential tenants in apartments, they did not have to worry about water. There was only one water meter.
Okay.
And that was paid
Okay,
by
well, but what I'm suggesting is that in a written document, that's the kind of thing that would be explained.
Okay, that we don't really have in writing as far as the other residential tenants not paying. Like, I don't know if we have a lease.
And it may be as simple as a statement that it's all being paid under one umbrella and there's nobody else we have to worry about. Or it could be
I don't know
as
if we want something
complicated
written,
as
but-
every single one is different.
Nancy,
Okay.
I just think that at this moment, the board cannot render a determination because it's not getting a full understanding.
I understand. I'm saying that that's part of what I'd like to see in the written document to help us understand some of it.
I understand that, but what I'm trying to convey to the petitioner is that at this moment, the board is requiring some additional information.
Right.
To break down the back bills, because the back bills is how we got here. And I understand all the testimony you've provided, but perhaps putting it in a timeline format would help us understand it better. That's what I believe Nancy was trying to say. Because while I understand that you believe that if you had gotten the bills would have been paid, that does not mean that you are completely not obligated to pay anything. And that's what we're trying to determine.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
So
So,
Let's give everybody 30 days.
yeah.
That's fine.
And, you know, for the petitioners, Mr. Zinn, whatever, you know, I mean, I think we need to recognize that you were not responsible for this building for all of this time period. So if you have gaps or whatever, I mean, that's totally understandable and explainable. But whatever you do have that can help us understand what was going on and how we got here would be helpful.
Right.
Okay. So I
Any
guess
questions from the petitioner and or from the city? We'll do one at a time. From the petitioner in terms of what it is we're looking for. Do you have a sense of what we're asking you to do?
I think so. And I think some of the documentation we have that. I don't know.
no,
You may have gaps because you weren't always responsible for it in that time period, and you may not be able to access it. I mean, we understand that could happen.
Mr.
I
Sim,
tried to find the tenant history with the realtor, but he was not cooperative, and I don't know how can I find we couldn't find any lease contract with the previous tenant, apartment
Okay.
tenant at all.
I think what they're saying is a declaration of faith from ourselves is enough. We don't need official documentation. A statement from us,
Yes.
underlying proof
Yes.
is enough.
Thank you. And we understand that there will be gaps. We understand that you were not
Right.
responsible for
And
the
the
property.
city will acknowledge that. Right.
yes,
Well, the board will acknowledge that.
Or the
So,
board.
and, yeah, that would just be helpful for us to get a sense of, you know, how we got here.
Okay.
Does the city have any questions of what we're looking for from you?
No, but I do want to reiterate it to make sure that I have everything.
Okay,
So you would like a timeline of any meter work and an explanation of what that was based upon from our meter shop. And you want the full accounting and payment history.
Correct.
Right.
And an explanation if there were credits, debits, transfers, how did we get to this specific bill? What are all the machinations that water revenue went through during this time period in dealing with this bill?
And can you
So an
also,
explanation of the accounting history.
and can you also CC the petitioners so they may also get a better understanding of what's been going on while the board either renders its decision or puts this back on for additional questioning?
Yes, and I would love to have the documents that the petitioner submitted to the board. I don't have those.
I thought I sent that to you, but I will send it to you again.
So
Then, as Ms. Andre said, once we have that documentation, we may not need anybody to come back, essentially by Zoom or in person. We may be able to use those documents to come to a decision.
Okay.
And if not, we will let everyone know that we do need another time period for discussion.
Or it may be that we simply have some questions that could be sent out in written form for a written response to supplement. We may not understand something that was presented, for example, and may ask for elaboration on it after we get your written document, and still not need to have you come together in this kind of format in order to discuss it. And then again, we may need to have both parties involved in discussion.
We'll let you know.
Okay.
Can I say this?
Yeah.
Can I bring up one more thing?
Mhm.
Are you familiar with this kind of documentation?
Yeah, that's a shut off.
Yeah, so we actually had the initial informal hearing in March of 22nd with Officer Harrigan.
Mhm.
That's,
Which
the,
over the phone.
that's with the Water Revenue Bureau. That's not with us.
Oh, okay.
You got a shut off after that?
No, we got
Shut
the,
off.
we did a hearing with her, and then she wants all the additional documentation, which is our lease contract. So we emailed her, and we did not hear anything back for a while. So I emailed Lisa Weaver and Billa Yuda, and I emailed several persons to take care of this issue. And nobody get back to me, but they sent us to the water shut-off notice. We got this mail in May of 2022. This is very, very scary and very, very frustrated. After hearings and preparing all this, we still get the shut-off notice. And
Yeah, I guess in short, like we've been very proactive about this.
yeah,
And
yeah, did I do anything wrong?
I don't think we got anything responsive other than, hey, we're gonna shut you off,
Board, I cannot speak to why the Water Revenue Bureau's informal hearing process is done the way it's done. I cannot provide any explanations, and I don't think Ms. Gonzalez can either. She's not with it. This is one of the problems with the process, I assume, and this is why you're here. But because you're appealing it here, you should not be receiving any additional shutoffs. Am I correct, Ms. Gonzalez?
So that what's the date on that shutoff letter?
May of 2022.
May what?
May of 2022.
May of
Yeah, May
2022.
9th, 2022.
It was on our mailbox on May 20, was Friday. I remember that day. It was very sharp.
That was before they filed their petition with the board.
Yeah.
No,
Yes, you're right about that because we have the shutoff notice.
Right. So that the account wasn't in dispute at that time.
No,
we would be.
it was in dispute with the informal hearing process.
That's not the case.
Okay.
They received a letter saying that the bill was correct as issued.
All right, but as of right now, because they are here, they should not have to be concerned about a shut off for this period of time.
No,
correct?
and they should not have received any further shut off notices once we got notice of their TRB petition.
And also we got that letter that the water bill is gonna go to the collection agency. So I had to go to call the collection agency and explain that, we are still doing the hearing for past couple of years. And so I had to write the letter, email them, and that I haven't been doing.
But again, that was likely before this petition was filed.
All of that should be stopped now.
No,
Yes.
it was a couple weeks, it was a couple months ago. I original petition initially registered on November of 2021. It was right after we got the letter. We filed the, we email, we sent the fax, we sent the email, and we did it multiple times because we didn't hear anything back. But it's keep happening to us.
Yeah,
So
I mean, I
if
guess
there's
it
any
wouldn't be-
debt that's outside of the disputed period that goes unpaid, that is not, that does not stop, that is still collectible.
Ms.
I mean,
Gonzalez,
there
the
shouldn't be
whole,
debt that way.
So-
issue is in front of us. So this has to be stopped, period. No shutting of the water, period.
Okay. So
And
we're
until
good.
we come up with a solution.
Yeah, that's not what, as far as the collections goes. From when they took ownership of the property in
That's a different
December of
issue. That's a
21
different issue.
forward, if there's any unpaid balance at that time, that would be eligible for collections if there had been at any point in time.
Agreed.
Yeah.
That-
And we're enrolled in auto pay other than this,
No, it's
disputed
not.
amount.
No, I
Oh, we're
set
not?
up the
Okay.
auto pay, but they took the full like $300. So I cannot do the auto pay. I have to pay every month, but again, I cannot set up the auto pay with this.
Okay, all right.
All right, so at this moment, we're gonna hold this case under advisement for a month for the city to provide us documentation and for the petitioners just to kind of complete what they've already submitted. And then the board will reach back out to the parties and let them know what the next steps will be, okay?
Okay, that sounds good. Thank you.
Thank you.
I guess that ends things for today. We thank everyone for coming together and trying to deal with this. We've got a lot of work to do on your behalf, and we at the board, once we receive your pieces of information, to go through that and try to come to an equitable conclusion. And we look forward to having that information before us so that we can do that review. And we thank you all for participating today. And I believe this is the last item on our agenda, and therefore this hearing is adjourned.
Thank you.
Everybody have a good
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.